Did aliens really land at a US Air Force base and calmly walk out to meet American officials? Welcome to the Holloman Air Force Base story. One of those, if this is true, everything changes situations. And the weird part? The more you look at it, the harder it gets to just laugh it off. Here's the situation. In 1964, a Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico radar picks up 3 unknown craft. Jets scramble, everyone goes on alert, one of the objects breaks formation, comes in low over the runway, hovers, and lands. A hatch opens. Short, blue-gray beings in tight suits step out and walk toward a group of waiting US officers and scientists. Not in a movie, on a real, active military base. Supposedly, multiple cameras are rolling. The entire encounter is filmed, then locked away. Sounds insane, right? So why hasn't this story gone away for 60 years? In 1974, a documentary called UFOs Past, Present, and Future airs on American TV. It's narrated by Rod Serling from The Twilight Zone. At the end, he calmly describes a UFO landing at Holloman in almost clinical detail, while we see a craft land and aliens meet with US officials. To a lot of people watching, that doesn't feel like fiction. It felt like a sanitized version of something real. The producer, Robert Emenegger, later says he was originally promised access to actual film from Holloman, but that clearance was pulled at the last second, and they were asked to recreate what supposedly happened. So we have a strange setup. Military insiders whispering about a landing, a mainstream TV documentary walking right up to the line, and a producer saying, yeah, we were real close to showing the real footage. Fast forward to now. In The Age of Disclosure, astrophysicist Eric Davis claims former President George H.W. Bush personally confirmed the Holloman incident to him. 3 craft approach, 1 lands, a non-human being meets with US personnel on base. That's not some random YouTuber, that's a respected scientist quoting a former CIA director and a sitting US president. At this point, you have to ask, are all of these people across different decades just coincidentally telling the same oddly specific story? Now let's play devil's advocate. We don't have the original film. We don't have a declassified memo that says, yep, aliens landed, signed the guest book and left. But here's what we do have. A long-running base rumor, a TV documentary that seems to dramatize something insiders wanted on the record without going too far, a producer who swears he was offered real footage, and a modern whistleblower repeating the same core details and tying it directly to a former US president. At some point, you stop asking, is this completely made up? And you start asking, why does this story keep showing up from people who should be in a position to know? So here's how I'd look at Holloman. Not as a guaranteed fact, but as a case that refuses to stay in just a myth box. If this was all nonsense, why risk reputations talking about it? Why hit